Hi there, and welcome to my next video on my YouTube channel, Unapologetic with Lorelei. You heard it right. I have changed the name of my channel. It used to be Natural Harmony with Lorelei before, and I have changed it. It aligns now with my Substack channel. It's just a small technical detail. And saying this while I'm standing here in the sunshine, very lucky day today, because the autumn has started, and I'm very lucky. This morning there was no sunshine at all, and uh, and now there is. So, saying that, of course, the sunshine is great, and sometimes you wish the sun would shine into your life all the time, and but unfortunately, it's not. And today I wanted to talk with you about how life feels when you are diminished by other people, by phases in your life, by things you had to go through, and but most of the time, the diminishing is I must say, the most of the time done by other people. And it's a sad state, actually. It's a sad state of affair when you are a victim of that. And it can happen in any stage of your life. And well, I have gone through different stages of my life that I have been diminished. And I'm calling back out of this one now again. And it's working because I had some practice over the years to come out of it and come out and be strong and gain self confidence again. And yet sometimes it can happen and it sneaks in, and you allow it for certain reasons. You allow people to get away with things, and but it's gonna hit you afterwards. And I wanted to talk with you about that, and perhaps um, you feel related to the topic. You've been through something like that, or somebody in your surroundings has gone through that or is going through it. And it's really a good thing if you know how to prevent it. Of course, that's one thing, but also once it happened to you, how you can come back out of it and come back stronger than ever. Because I guess that's what you want, isn't it? It's a bit proud, it's a bit stubbornness, and you owe it to yourself. I hope you don't hear it too much. I hear that there's somewhere further up in the forest they are building a house, and I hear some machinery sometimes. So I'm gonna flip the screen and I'm gonna go on my walk, and then show you the nice sunshine and the beautiful colors of the trees, um, to the autumn colors. And whilst that, I'll be talking with you about more about the topic of what to do when you are diminished, how to prevent it sometimes, and if you haven't been able to prevent it, how to deal with it and how to come back stronger than ever. I'm going to flip the screen and I'll see you on the other side. Right, and it's just a matter of seconds that I'm back here on the other side of the screen, and the sun is playing a trick on me because it just disappeared now, and I think he's trying to come back, but it's not working too much. But anyhow, it's a nice vibe in the forest. Anyhow, I love the colors, and it's really nice and calm here. If apart from the construction building that I heard just a little while ago. Oh, there I went, almost stumbling over a piece of wood. Anyhow, but coming back to the topic of being diminished, which is not so much to laugh about, of course. Um, perhaps you perhaps you don't even know you have been diminished because you don't want to give into it, or you think it's just feeling tired and feeling weakened is and you're not so sharp anymore as you used to be. You think maybe it's because you're it's phase of your life, it's hormones, it can be anything that you can blame for it. But I believe most of the time it's a clear case of you're being diminished by by situations, maybe institutes or people working on institutes, or people in your private life, in your relationship. Uh, Anybody really can do it. I have the most problems with, people who are doing it to me. A lot of um, passive aggressive people, but I don't get diminished by them so much anymore. But I grew up surrounded by them. I mean, just couldn't escape them, and it had had its toll on me because they think everything you do is ridiculous, and why don't you be normal, and you think everything's possible, and every idea you come with is just not on. And I remember I was like 15, 16, and I went to my family and I said, "Oh my God, you guys, I have such great news. You better sit down." And I wanted to tell them that I had a job in Austria for a season, in the winter season, in a nice hotel. And I couldn't even say what I wanted to say. And the first thing one of my uncles said, He said, "Oh my God, she's pregnant." And I said, "Well, how on earth do you come up with that idea? What's in your mind?" I mean, I just threw a shadow over it. And it's not that being diminished means people are throwing just a shadow over your enthusiasm. It goes way deeper than that. It, it's it goes straight to your heart, because when you hear a lot of these comments and these negative comments and these sneers and these non-believers in whatever you do, whatever your ideas, whatever you're trying to deal with or tackle with, or whichever bright thing you're dealing with at the moment for your life, and you're happy and enthusiastic, they will just slam it down. And it touches your heart. After a while, of course, you say to yourself, okay, well, I'm not going to talk with these people about my stuff anymore. And it goes on like that. And you probably meet some other people who are sometimes doing the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. And before you know it, you're in a young age and you're being discouraged so much that it does you can't escape from it. It does affect you. You cannot say, no, I'll be strong and it won't touch me, because you are going to live accordingly. I mean, you're gonna sometimes you're gonna question yourself. But for me, I was stubborn. I said I had to believe in myself, and I've always kept believing in myself. But sometimes believing in yourself is just not enough to prevent yourself from being, well, I can't say it any other way, diminished. You weakened your strength. They take away little bit by little bit. By responding to you like that, they take a little bit away from your strength. And your inner, they touch your inner strength even, and that's a bad situation, if you ask me. And as I said, it happened to me when I was a young adult, and a puber even, and then everybody blames it on she's a difficult in puberty and all the rest of it. You're always being blamed for whatever phase it is. It's all your fault anyhow, and it really goes deep. You cannot just, it's just not remarks just like that, because it's coming many times from people that you really care about. Well, you would want to care about them, but it's difficult if they always put you and your thoughts down like that. It's so many hurtful. Oh, I could write a book about so many hurtful incidents that I grew up with, caused by my family, and on really really happy occasions. I remember even my sister had a baby, and it was very crowded in the hospital, and we were only allowed with so many people. So I said, okay, shall we go do it like this one goes first, this one second, and shall we do it like that? And then immediately you will get comments like, who she thinks she is, she's so young and she thinks she can rule us, and she can just tell us what to do. And it's not that. I'm just happy my sister had a baby. And I mean, nah, it's so being so misunderstood. And so, well, people don't even, sometimes people don't even try to understand you or try to be empathetic towards you. And it's very hurtful. It's really really hurtful. But it's not only hurtful, it's also really damaging. It damages you, and you don't want to admit it to yourself, but it is. And as I said, I climbed out of it at that age. I rebelled against it, and I had to make moves and did things I never really wanted to do, but I had to do them because of sheer. Oh, it's such a pity that the sun just went down just a few seconds ago. The sun was shining beautifully. Anyhow, there goes the sunshine. Like other things, as I just said, it can really hurt you. And I had to do things, make moves, did take action on things that I never really wanted to do it. And but I had to. I had to. I had to. There was a coping mechanism inside of me, and I had to. I was always in survival mode, and it's not nice to be in, not when you're so young. But also in a later age, it's not fun. It's not fun that you always have to be alert for people not putting you down. I had been in relationships where somebody would be very extremely dominant. I'm not saying narcissistic, but he was very dominant, and then you had to be on your toes all the time because other things, and it was shocking that it came out after a while that he thought he was way way much better and smarter than I was, and he would always use me to fix little things, and then when the time came to be successful in something, then he would step in the front. And so that's another way of being put down and put away and being diminished because you put your whole heart and soul and heart into something and somebody, and you feel betrayed after that. And betrayal is another way of being diminished, because it also weakens you. It does weaken you, because how many times can you actually really put your heart and soul into something and somebody and being knocked down all the time, after even after years? And it sneaks in. It goes very quietly, and because of things that happen, and again you have to climb out of it, and you have to make moves and decisions that you don't really want to do, but you have to. And you have to leave the situation. You have to leave the person behind and cut them out of your life. You just have to. Or if you can't really totally cut them out, then at least to be on a very, very minimum contact, as far as I believe. And again, it's all about resilience as well. It's an important thing to come out of. I believe to come out of your diminished situation, you have to still have a little bit of strength left to be resilient. And yeah, I've had an expression over the years. I told myself, like, I'm going to, from now on, because my children had a trampoline later on in life. I had my children and I had a trampoline, and then I used it sometimes myself. It just was fun to do. And it was fun, because after a while, after you start jumping for a little while, in the beginning you think, what am I doing? But then, yeah, you feel it. You feel the relief coming from every time you jump. It was really an odd experience. And then I said to myself, if I ever hit the ground again, the bottom of my life again, in whatever way, I'm going to jump like it's a trampoline. And I've used that over the years, especially over the last decade or 2 decades even. I had to do it that way, and I did. I really did. I have been diminished again by the way my divorce turned out. It was really, really a crying shame that it had to be like that, because I don't know if you recognize any of this is what I'm saying, and if you have been weakened and diminished and put down in hurtful ways by people you care about. And then you will recognize what I say, or maybe, as I said, maybe you know somebody in your surroundings who had to go through things like that too in their lives. And well, sometimes the saddest part of things is that people don't even know they're doing it to you. It also makes it harder, because you can't really lash out to them, because they don't even know what they're doing. And it's double hard, double hurtful sometimes, because if you know somebody's doing it to you on purpose, you can be angry and you can fight against that. But the moment they're not doing it, they're doing it out of their own ignorance. That's another difficult thing to deal with. But as I said, as I would, use the bottom of that I hit bottom again, rock bottom again, and I would jump up. And as it happened to me also after my divorce, it was a crying shame. I became as good as homeless with my 3 kids, and in a very brutal way. And it's such a shame, actually, because you see the news, you see things like this all over the news, or you hear it all around you. And it's very easy to say, oh, she's a single mom, or she's alone with the kids, or he, is also possible. But there's a lot of hurt that hides behind that, and a lot of strength you have to come back from that, because I have been through times a bit in my marriage that even the whole family, my family-in-law, then would also diminish me, because I came from another country. It's a neighboring country. We're speaking the same language, but I would be diminished, and for what I was and where I came from. And they even used the king from my country for, like, oh yes, your king this and your king that. I mean, I don't have nothing with the king, but it was all a part of weakening me, not acknowledging me for who I am. I was just, you just have to, yeah, you just have to listen to what they're saying and live according to their values. And if they only smell you doing something else, then they would lash out and they would ridicule you or whatever. And you can only take so much, and you have to fight back for that. You have to fight your way back again. And but in the meantime, you're sitting there with being married and 3 little children. Not an easy situation. But of course, I'm using my life in this respect as an example. But it can be other things as well. It can be siblings, it can be yeah, it can be any kind of situation. At work, of course, as well. At school, at work, you can be really weakened and put down and diminished in so many ways. And I can only say you have to climb back out of it step by step. Try to find new ways. Try to see new things. Um, it's like you're wiping. You have to wipe your shoes before you're entering into your new life. You wipe your shoes almost physically or symbolically to wipe that dirty energy that's been put on you, and just wipe it off your shoes. And sometimes I used to come home and I would put on other clothes because I don't want the energy that hung around me all day long. It was just like that energy would be in my clothes even, and I would just get up and wash my clothes. And it's all kind of little symbolic ways or physical ways you can do to fight your way back out of it, and say no. It's not. There's nothing, literally nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. It's people who do things like that who are deadly wrong, and it's bad. It's well, I think really, really diminishing people so clearly and so obviously, whether intentionally or not, that's always a question. But it's a type of mental abuse, I believe, and I don't want to have pity for something like that. But I have been through quite some scenarios in my life that really resembled some deep diminishing and some mean diminishing, and it touched really mental abuse. And yeah, you have to come out of that. And it's just a matter of, it's not just, but it's a matter of you refuse to go down. Plain and simple. You refuse to go down. I can go down a little bit, but I will get back up. And you have to say that to yourself. And try to go into other things like alcohol or drugs or something like that, because that's another way of going down. And then I believe that world that did it to you around you has won. So no, don't. Just come out of it step by step. Try to find new things, read new things, see new things. Take the car or a train or a plane if you can, and get new vibes in. And then you can see yourself in another situation, and then you probably recognize your value again and where you stand for, and you're a good person, and you take it from there. You have to take it from there. So all in all, I'm not saying, I don't want to say I don't. I hope rather that that I spurred you onto something, and that you're really gonna be aware of what's actually happening in your life. Don't take your tiredness or your sadness or whatever. Don't take it for granted. Or rather, don't take it like it's normal and it's everybody has stress and the whole world is full of stress, and so it's all normal. No, it's not normal. You can have stress, things can happen in your life, but being weakened deliberately by other people, passive aggressive or aggressive, no matter how you want to call it, it's a form of mental abuse, and it will touch you no matter how strong you are. I consider myself a pretty strong woman, but I noticed it had gotten to me seriously, and even on a later age, because of all kinds of obligations you have built around you and the responsibilities, it's hard to rebel against it and to get it out of your system. But you can do it. Believe me, you can. And I would want to say, have a look at the sunshine and feel the vibe. But all I can say now is look at the clouds. And but not all gray clouds are bad. Sometimes the rain comes out of the gray sky, and I believe out of the gray clouds, and they will wash certain things clean. So I see it metaphorically like this: the rain just washes things clean, washes the energy, bad energy away, and when it's all dried up, nature, or wherever you are, you know, you have a new chance. The dust is off, the bad energy is off, and continue your life and build back up your strength, because that's what you need if you want to succeed or be happy in life. Get your strength back, and by saying that, I wish you a very nice day. Maybe you've got something to think about, or maybe not. Maybe you just left all this darkness and weakness behind you and you came out already. So congratulations for that. Really great. But for now, I would say have a very nice day and take a very, very good care of yourself and your loved ones. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.